Greetings, gentlemen and ladies, I'm the Crypto Game Snob, and in today's video we are taking a look at Gods Unchained, some price action. As I was talking about in my previous video from just yesterday, we had a Gods Unchained token dip down to just under $3, $2.98. An absolute bargain of a price if you ask me. This has been up and down, of course, since its release just a few months ago. The October 30th, by the looks of it, was when they dropped the token. We've been up and down a little bit. We're in a bit of a bullish crypto phase at the moment. A bit of a bearish crypto phase, a bit of retracement at the moment. I still am very bullish on the entire crypto space. I don't think we're going to enter into a bear market for a while. That's my humble opinion, but again, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Not financial advice. Don't listen to me. Anyway, what I am seeing, however, is an interesting sort of kickback here on the Gods Unchained token for today. If you take a look at where things are headed, we had that $2.90 low, and then we absolutely rocketed up to just about $4, just over $4. I think actually just a little bit higher than $4. And now we're kind of getting a little bit of retracement, but here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the lower lows, or the higher lows rather, the sort of trend line, which seems to be on its way back up at the moment. Now, this may or may not last at the moment. We may have some up and down, battling back and forth between all the free tokens. I think that people are quickly cashing in for a quick buck. In my humble opinion, that's kind of one of the silliest things you could do with God's tokens at the moment. If you're looking at some of the free tokens that you're being given right now, what do you get? Like maybe $50 or $60 or $70 a week worth of Gods tokens if you complete all of the Blessing of the Gods event. If you complete all of that, and you know, you get your $70 a week reward, and then consider how much room this coin has to grow. Right, so we have an $86 million market cap. Something like Axie Infinity or the Sandbox have like a $5 billion market cap. That's about 50 times higher. So that's $70 worth of Gods tokens that some of these players are probably cashing out on. Right, that's that little bit of token grab right now. If you hang on to that, man, just hang on to that for this year, for 2022. I have a feeling that you'll probably be able to see 10x, 50x returns on that. So your $70 cash out right now could become $700, or it could become several $1,000s, right? If you're kind of talking 20x, 30x, which I think is more than possible for this token. But I do believe that the marketing strategy for Gods Unchained, and the fact that they're giving away so many tokens to attract a player base, basically, and I think it's working really well, because they are experiencing like a lot of player growth right now, something like 300% active player growth every week since the Blessing of the Gods event. And because of that, I think what's happening is that a lot of these players are just kind of unaware of the value that the Gods token will have, the game itself, the kind of diamond in the rough, not even in the rough, just kind of undiscovered diamond blue chip potential of this, and they're just kind of taking what they can get quickly and cashing out and making a few bucks, right? Okay, sure, like that's one thing you can do, and I think a lot of players are doing that, and I think that's probably causing the price to kind of continue to have this sell pressure. But there's only so much of that'll happen. There's only so many tokens that are allotted to marketing budget, and the free giveaways to attract a player base is a part of that marketing budget worth of token allotment, right? But it's necessary to have a player base, right? And you have to have a player base that sticks around, and to have a player base that sticks around, you have to have a good game, which Gods Unchained happens to be a really good game, super fun, super addictive game. So what they're doing, I think, is really, really smart in, you know, paying players to come and say, hey, check out this game, and oh, by the way, now you've got some tokens as well, so you're kind of got like this extra layer of interest, of investment into the game for those players who kind of have the foresight to hold on to their tokens. They could be rewarded very, very amply, like in multiplications to what the actual weekly reward is. Like I say, maybe 50, 60, 70 bucks, depending on what rank you are. So your $70 reward, if you hold on to that could be worth 10x, could be worth 50x in 2022 sometime. Like realistically, that could happen in 2022. Whether or not players hold on to their tokens or not doesn't really matter, because here's the point of all that token giveaway. It builds player base, right? And a player base is basically the ingredient that's required to have a successful game, right? You need a active, healthy player base, and in order to have an active, healthy player base, you need a good game, which Gods Unchained indeed is. But before you can have that, before even a good game can be sitting without an active player base if not enough people have discovered it, right? If the game is largely undiscovered, if it isn't being streamed on some of the biggest Twitch channels, if it hasn't reached that mainstream trending audience, right? Which Gods Unchained has not yet done, not even close, in my humble opinion, but has absolute potential to. So that's kind of where we're sitting, where I think we're seeing a lot of people cashing in their Blessing of the Gods tokens. That's why we're seeing a lot of sell pressure. But also, I think there's just a lot of people who are kind of seeing this token and this game and the potential that is intrinsic in a super high quality game that's super fun, and a market cap that's so super low by comparison to some of the bigger names out there, which aren't as good, in terms of gameplay. Anyway, I've been playing this game for like just over a year now, and I still am having as much fun with it, if not more fun with it, than I ever had, because the more you play, the more you know, the kind of more you learn, the more strategies you develop. What you thought you knew, in the beginning, and the strategies you thought were the good strategies might have been for a while, but then you kind of see the game in a whole other light, and new strategies evolve, and then the dev team comes along and they make some changes, and that mixes up the whole meta, makes things all super interesting again, or they release a new expansion pack and that mixes up the meta and makes things all super interesting again. So this game has held my attention now longer than any game I've played in recent memory, and so that's interesting. Like, I haven't played the entire year straight, right? Like, entire year non-stop. I've taken, probably a couple months off here, and then I've been on a couple months, and then off a few weeks, and then on a few weeks, kind of, give and take, right? A little bit of back and forth. But the thing is, I still think this is a super fun game. I haven't gotten even close to bored with it, and that's the thing about a player versus player game. It's very hard to get bored with that feeling of victory when you win a game, right? Like, that's a really fun thing when you're playing against other people. Man, you get a charge out of those victories. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. You get a legit charge out of that. You can also get legit dismay, and that's actually the reason I quit a few times, because my my luck had been running so bad, or my deck wasn't actually really good, and that's the point. Is sometimes I got frustrated. I'm like, what, to hell with this. I give up, right? And losing can suck. But the thing is, that's actually good. If losing really sucks and winning is really awesome, that means that this game is so good at just like capturing its players' emotion, right? And that's what a game is all about, right? It's like capturing emotion. Like, that's what a movie's all about. That's what entertainment is all about. It's about, feeding players, feeding viewers emotion, highs and lows. That's the journey, the fun. That's where the enjoyment of an activity comes from. It's from being fed those emotions. And believe it or not, a simple card game, well, not simple, but like a card game actually does that so well in Gods Unchained. So I think this game is super fun, and this token is looking really good. And as for today's sort of activity, yeah, like I say, right down to what I think we probably won't see a low like this probably for a while. Like, I'm thinking that's probably where it's going to dip to. I think we're probably back on a rise. We're going to see some fluctuation, like I say, as the token is sold by the players who would just received it for free and don't really understand the value of holding it for the long term, or what they're selling for $70 right now. If they hold it until 2022 or December 2022 or something like that, could be worth $3,000, right? Instead of like that $70 a week, you might be selling tens of thousands of dollars worth of God's token if you just held on to it for a year or so, right? And a lot of players are cashing out for that quick, $50 a week or whatever the case may be. Anyway, that's my humble opinion, but like I say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't listen to me, not financial advice, but I am liking the looks of this little bounce here. This kind of looks like we've broken out of the, well, it kind of looks to me like we've broken out of the downtrend, right? You can see a bunch of lower lows, all in a nice straight line right there. I'll draw a line over this. And now we can see that it kind of looks like it's broken out of that downtrend to me. It may or may not stick. We may bounce around the baseline for a while, but you got to expect a certain number of players that are holding this. Number one, have bought in slightly higher, so it's not advantageous to sell yet. Number two, believe in the exponential return of this, holding this token for a year or so potentially. And a lot of holders of this token are just absolutely not going to budge. And myself being one of those, like I would not budge on this token. Anything could happen, right? We never know with any sort of investment. All we can do in terms of like investing and risk with anything in life is try to minimize risk, right? Like we can never predict anything with absolute certainty, but what we can do is make calculated predictions which are likely to, we can predict what is likely the upside versus what is likely the downside, right? So the likely upside of God's Unchained token is kind of going the way of Axie Infinity, getting to that sort of market cap, 10, 50xing. Like that's the likely upside, right? Even 10x seems more than likely. 50x even seems well within reach. And you have to expect that games like Axie Infinity and with the way the gaming industry is sort of growing, it's there's more money in the gaming industry on its own than there is in all of movies and all of music combined, right? So in terms of an industry of revenue per year, the gaming industry is growing each year, and it's already bigger than movies and music combined, right? So there's just going to be more and more gamers getting into gaming as we get cooler and cooler game tech, VR, and metaverse stuff, and all that sort of stuff, right? So the gaming audience, in my humble opinion, it's still growing. It's still a baby compared to where it will be as the audience for games like fun games and the technologies improve for gaming. Like the gaming industry is the new movies, it's the new music, right? It's not that new, but the point is it isn't as adopted yet as, say, movies or music. It actually is kind of more so, when you consider all the gamers in the world that are up and coming. But what I mean is it's a little bit newer, right? Like cinema has been around a lot longer than video games, right? Or music has been around a lot longer than video games. But even still, in a short amount of time, the video game as an entertainment industry has already surpassed music and movies in terms of billions of dollars per year of revenue and that sort of thing, right? And it's growing every year. And so when you consider that the gaming industry period is such a growth thing and still growing, potentially even exponentially so as new interesting game tech comes out, new, like I say, VR, metaverse stuff starts to come out, making gaming more accessible to like everybody. Like mobile gaming is one of the most popular types of gaming because everybody has a phone, right? So you can imagine what's going to happen as more exotic technologies like VR become more accessible, more easy, more portable, more streamlined, right? You can imagine what could happen in the gaming industry in general. Like this is the new mainstream human entertainment form, and it's not even blossomed yet to what I think it will be probably in the next 10 years, 5 years even less, right? So yeah, anyway, so we take a super sweet, fun game like God's Unchained, which is an early innovator in terms of like the crypto gaming space, and you look at just the industry of entertainment, which is gaming, as this up and coming, already super massive, but still with a huge amount of growth potential. And you combine all those things, and this token, like I say, not only could it get to where Axie Infinity is, it could go so far beyond that we can't even imagine it yet. Like it really could. Like that's the gaming industry, right? Like we have no idea what to expect, but typically in terms of expectations about what is possible with things, we massively underestimate the potential. Look at Bitcoin, right? Back in the early days, I think something like 5 Bitcoins were being given out as the 5th place prize for a StarCraft tournament, right? Something like that. I think the top prize was like $1,000, and like fifth place prize was like 5 Bitcoins or something, some jokey thing like that, right? Those 5 Bitcoins, $250,000 today. And that's probably still low compared to where Bitcoin is most probably going, right? We have some estimates of the $100,000 Bitcoin, $500,000 Bitcoin, and so on. It depends on who you listen to, right? So we tend to underestimate technology and the growth potential of certain things. And I think that, yeah, crypto gaming, Gods Unchained is an awesome example of crypto gaming, an early comer that's doing a game with such a high degree of polish and super awesome gameplay. I haven't seen another game in the crypto space that's actually fun to play yet. I've seen some kind of cute ideas, like the sandbox is a cute idea, but I haven't seen another game that's actually super fun to play in the crypto space. So anyway, that's my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.